into a tight-knit family in Cozad, Nebraska. Fireman First Class Grant Clark Cook Jr. was like many other rural Nebraska kids. He valued family ties and acknowledged that hard work equaled success. At a very young age, Cook and his only sibling Gene lost their mother, who was only 24 years old at the time. They were raised by their father, aunt, and grandfather. According to his sister, Jean Sheehan, Grant was a good all-around guy, though perhaps a little mischievous. Cook enjoyed fishing, and he enjoyed playing sports, particularly football. He was a halfback on the Cozad High School football team in an era when halfbacks ran the offense. In a September 13th, 1938 article in the local newspaper, Cook, a 160-pound senior, was described as having shown great possibilities along the passing line. He was not only accurate, but could pass good on the run. In 1939, Grant Clark Cook Jr. graduated from high school and began working full-time at a local garage. Less than a year later, July 17, 1940, in Omaha, Nebraska, Cook enlisted in the U.S. Navy. After completing the recruit training, Cook became a part of the Fireman Apprenticeship Training Program, a three-week course on naval engineering fundamental skills and shipboard operations and evolutions. Upon successful completion of this training, firemen served wherever the U.S. Navy needed them the most. In Cook's case, this meant the USS Oklahoma in Pearl Harbor. Cook's job was to keep the fires burning in the ship's boilers, which were used to power large turbines and the ship's electricity. Cook was on the USS Oklahoma from October 9, 1940 to December 7, 1941, the day of his death. Cook, who worked in the ship's boilers room, died during the first minutes of the attack after several Japanese torpedoes struck the Oklahoma while it was moored in Battleship Row. Most of the 429 service members who died were trapped below decks when the ship rolled and sank to the bottom of the bay. Only 35 were identified at the time. Cook's Nebraska family learned of the Pearl Harbor attack on the radio and immediately began worrying about their son and brother. A short time later, the family was sent a telegram telling them that Grant was missing. Gene stated, "When I heard my brother was missing, just complete shock. So much sadness. It was hard for us to believe that he was really gone." In 2015, after a long bureaucratic tussle, the Pentagon decided to disinter the USS Oklahoma service members' remains, making another effort to identify them using DNA technology. The Defense Prisoner of War Missing in Action Accounting Agency shipped caskets containing 13,000 bones to its lab at Offutt Air Force Base in Grant Cook's home state, Nebraska, for identification. Although Sheehan had given a DNA sample, it took another 4 years before she received word that her brother had been identified. Cook was officially identified on August 27, 2018. He was very much loved, she said. It was wonderful to have a brother, and it was very hard to lose him. Hawaii was chosen as Cook's final resting place by his family after he was identified. Jean said, after all these years, Hawaii just seemed to be the right place, and she felt it was the final destination. It was the sacrifices the men and women like Grant Cook Jr. made that allow me to stand here today and honor him. During my time of reflecting on his story, I've learned to appreciate the sacrifices that those not much older than myself have made for our country. I am honored to be able to share his story, and I am thankful for all that I have learned from this experience. Thank you.